Did you know that the Leaning Tower of Pisa, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, is actually a bell tower? That's right, it was never meant to be just a decorative structure, but was built to house the bells for the nearby cathedral in Pisa, Italy. The tower is instantly recognizable for its dramatic tilt, which has made it famous across the globe, but this tilt wasn't part of the original plan. In fact, it started leaning even before construction was finished, due to the soft, unstable ground beneath it. Imagine a tower that stands over 180 feet tall, about the height of an 18-story building, leaning so much that it looks like it might topple over at any moment. Yet it has stood for more than 800 years, defying gravity and expectations. For centuries, people have been fascinated by the mystery of why the tower leans and whether it will ever fall. Engineers and architects from all over the world have studied it, trying to understand how it has survived earthquakes, storms, and the passage of time. The Leaning Tower of Pisa remains a symbol of human curiosity, resilience, and the unexpected beauty that can come from imperfection. The Leaning Tower of Pisa's troubles began right after construction started in 1173. The ground beneath the tower is soft. The builders didn't realize the clay and sand wouldn't support the tower's weight. As the tower grew taller, it started to sink unevenly, causing the famous lean. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the world's most famous architectural oddities, instantly recognizable for its dramatic tilt. But have you ever wondered if it's actually possible to fix a leaning tower? Over the centuries, countless engineers, architects, and workers have tried to solve this puzzling problem. Each generation brought new ideas and techniques, hoping to straighten the iconic structure or at least prevent it from toppling over. However, not all attempts were successful. In fact, some efforts to fix the tower actually made things much worse. Well-meaning workers sometimes used methods that were not fully understood at the time, and their interventions ended up accelerating the tower's tilt or even damaging its fragile foundation. For example, in the 1930s, engineers decided to inject concrete into the foundation, believing this would strengthen the base and halt the leaning. The idea was to fill the soft ground beneath the tower with a solid material, hoping it would provide the support needed to keep the structure upright. This plan was supposed to stabilize the tower and preserve it for future generations. The engineers and workers were optimistic, thinking they had finally found a solution to the centuries-old problem. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of fixing the problem, the injected concrete caused the tower to sink even more on one side. The added weight and uneven distribution made the tilt worse, leaving the workers and townspeople even more concerned about the tower's fate. By the 1990s, the situation had become critical. The Leaning Tower was tilting so dangerously that experts feared it could collapse at any moment. The world watched anxiously as engineers raced against time to save this beloved landmark from disaster. After centuries of concern and failed attempts to fix the problem, it wasn't until the 1990s that a breakthrough finally arrived. A dedicated team of modern engineers, drawing on the latest advances in geotechnical science, was assembled to tackle the challenge that had baffled experts for generations. They knew that any drastic measures could risk damaging the fragile structure, so they needed a solution that was both innovative and extremely gentle. Their ingenious plan involved removing very small amounts of soil from beneath the raised side of the tower, just a handful at a time. This delicate operation required incredible patience and precision. The engineers worked slowly, constantly monitoring the tower's movement with sensitive instruments to ensure that it didn't shift too quickly or crack under its own weight. As the soil was carefully extracted, the tower began to settle back down, little by little, becoming more balanced with each passing day. The process was painstakingly slow, but the results were remarkable. The tower's tilt was reduced in a controlled manner, preventing any sudden movements that could have caused disaster. It was a slow and delicate process requiring constant vigilance and teamwork. Every step was meticulously planned and executed, with the engineers celebrating each tiny improvement. Their dedication and expertise paid off, proving that patience and precision could achieve what brute force never could. Thanks to their efforts, the tower was straightened by over 40 centimeters, a significant achievement that made it safer than it had been in centuries. Today, the tower stands stable and secure, a testament to the power of modern engineering and the determination of those who refuse to let a historic landmark be lost to time.